Hey everybody, it's Tanya here with Get Noticed with Video and Stream Like a Boss TV. So you're probably wondering, why is she on a Wednesday? That's not her day. It's not my day typically, but I'm going to be on tonight. I'm going to be on for about 30 minutes or so. Maybe we can go a little longer if you have questions. Let me share with you just a couple of really quick reasons why I'm here. One is because I may not be able to do my live stream on my regular day, which is Thursday. That would have been Thursday, April 7th. That's because there's a lot going on. So, secondly, I wanted to make sure to share with you, and I'm going to just have this up in case there are any comments. If anyone wants to say hello, if you want to say hi, if you want to let me know if you're an OG, just type in hashtag OG, meaning you've been here with us before. I'm going to take this off until we have some folks popping in because this, again, is not my normal time. So you didn't know, other than the heads up earlier today. Um, if you are new to watching any of my streams and this is the very first time you're seeing me on video, feel free to type in hashtag newbie and I want to welcome you personally. What I tend to talk about, I love talking with my community about issues that affect women coaches, course creators, consultants who are in the service business. All of you, if you're in one of those spots, one of those occupations, your occupation is a service provider. And as a service provider, we need to use more video. We need to use more on camera video so that we can really stand out online. We can reach more people or serve more people, and we can sell more of our services. So that is really the intent behind Stream Like a Boss TV and Get Noticed with Video. But why am I here tonight? I'm here tonight because I am sharing a couple of things. I wanted to share especially with my community, the folks who are over inside of live streaming for service providers on Facebook, and my Stream Bosses Academy members. I wanted to give you some updates about what's coming up for the month of April. Now, I will say that typically what I tend to do, and I'm going to pop this up so you can kind of see what I usually do, and then I'm going to share what I'm doing today because it's going to be slightly different. And really, I also want to just open this thing up since I'm here and kind of freestyling a little bit tonight. I want to open this up, and if you have questions, if there's something you need me to demo for you, if there's anything that you want to know that I can help you with in terms of video, I got a little time tonight, so we can freestyle it. I'm going to ask, let's do one thing here really quickly. Okay, I'm going to share my screen because I want you to see when I talk about this calendar, what I usually do. So, a couple of things. One, I want to share what's coming up on the calendar for the month of April and moving a little bit into the month of May. Two, I want to share with you a couple of really specific events that you want to know about. Because if you fall in any of the categories I just mentioned, whether you're a woman or not, if you're a coach, a service provider of some kind, a course creator, you're going to want to know about these events because they're going to be amazing. And this is one of the reasons why I'm trying to adjust things for this month. I know I had a couple of questions that I'm going to try to answer, and you know who you are, those of you who submitted questions in advance. One of you asked a question about angles, so I want to talk a little bit about angles. And then someone else asked a question. This was a really interesting question, and it got the smoke coming out of my ears. The question was about, hey, I know you focus on live streaming, which I do, but is there benefit to just totally wiping live streaming off the map and just going full in on reels? So I want to try to answer that from my own perspective. Now, I will give you some disclaimers when I answer this. And I'll also say that I'm doing some more investigating for that last one. So we're going to cover all those things today. And if you happen to join in a little late or you're watching the replay, just say hello. Do a hashtag replay if you're watching the replay so I can know to come and acknowledge you. So, again, I want to look for my folks who are um, typically here. You're going to be my hashtag OG. My folks who are very first time watchers, hashtag newbies. Okay, and then I'm also checking inside of a couple of different spaces because LinkedIn doesn't allow me to actually show comments here. But if you're in the Facebook group, if you're on Facebook, if you're in YouTube, you can leave a comment that I can actually see and I can acknowledge you personally. So I will go ahead and pull up my LinkedIn just in case I have some folks over there because I tend to have a few that are commenting there as well. Okay, while I'm doing all of that, here's what I'd want to do is to pull up what I usually showcase for you. And this again is especially for those of you who are community members, like you're in either my free community or you're in my paid community. We need to talk about that too, because I'm seeing kind of a mass migration over to a network called Mighty Networks. If you know what Mighty Networks is, I just want you to pop in and just say, yes, yes, Mighty Networks, or you can say no, Mighty Networks, question mark, or whatever you want to put there. And I see one of my OGs in the house, ma'am. Let me pop your comment up. I think I can see it. There we go. Miss Michelle O'Neill, the amazing Mastering Your Mondays. You can find her at masteringyourmondays.com. And she said, yes, she is familiar with the Mighty Networks, of course, because she's one of our stream bosses. But I am very curious about this whole migration from Facebook groups to Mighty Networks, and I can share some perspective on the difference between the two and how I'm kind of struggling. I'm at this crossroads right now about the two. So I'll pop that in there too because someone did ask me about that as well. So those are three Q&As that I'll try to get to before I wrap. So, first and foremost, let me show you what I usually do inside of my Facebook group for our calendar. I'm going to show you that real quick. I'm going to see if I can pop it up on screen real quickly here. Okay, so let me blow it up so that you can really see it. So, usually, what I will do is I have a full out calendar post and it shares with everybody, hey, March 9th, we're doing this. March 17th, we're doing that. Here's when we're doing community office hours. And then we have a link to our very specific calendar along with codes and all of those things. And I was in the process of actually pulling the one together for April. Now, March was Women's History Month, but really every month is Women's History Month as far as I'm concerned. Can I get an amen? Oh, and Michelle corrected me. It's masteringyourmonday.com. Thank you, Michelle. Okay. I appreciate you for telling me that because I do want to make sure people find you. So, masteringyourmonday.com. The thing that I wanted to share. So, usually I have this picture and I do this creative little thing, and it takes a lot of time. But I am honestly, I sat there and I was pulling this calendar together and I was like, well, there's a lot going on. So I'm going to pull up my calendar as it appears today. There are several events happening. You can probably barely see that, and that's okay. Let me try to pop it up as a huge screen share. Let me see if I can do it that way. And oh, I always like to answer what I'm using. So for today, I am actually showing you yeah, there's me. Okay. For today, I'm using Restream, but I'm using it with Ecamm Live as the actual controller. So the source of my camera feed is Ecamm. I'm broadcasting into Ecamm Live and I'm sending that over to Restream so that I can hit multiple spaces. So if you got questions about that, just let me know. All right. And I see that note there from someone in my Facebook group. I just can't tell who you are, so no worries. I'm so glad that you're here today, which is awesome. So here's what I'm doing. I'm kind of going through this calendar with you Again, this is primarily for my folks who are in the communities that I facilitate. Okay. We are in the process of registering people for the Let's Go Live challenge. The Let's Go Live challenge is set to start, or was set to start, on Monday the 18th and going through the 22nd. So you can see there that week where there are kind of double dip things happening. There's an orange banner and there's a green banner. The Let's Go Live challenge, I want to talk a little bit about that just for a few minutes, to share with you what this is. And then I'm going to ask a few things. I'm going to ask your help on some stuff. So, Let's Go Live is a 5-day experience. And it's not just an experience where you are taking a course and you get lost in the shuffle. We usually have a pretty small and intimate group of people, mostly women. And what we do is I basically deliver an on demand video every morning at 6 a.m. Central. And then at 6 p.m. Central, we meet. So I make myself available in a private space. We all get together. I clarify any questions about the video and the assignment that was given. It's a small snack size assignment. And then I answer questions. Like, I just help you through any issues. And these issues, a lot of times when people are doing live stream, especially for the first time, are typically around mindset, around any type of blocks that you might have about your appearance or your professionalism or anything that may be holding you back. And we do gear, like I help you in terms of your gear and the equipment and the setup. And so over the course of 5 days, we're spending that time each morning and each evening, really 4 days, because on Friday we have a lunchtime meeting to celebrate. But it's an opportunity for you if you are brand new to live streaming, or if you've been streaming but you're not consistent. So that is set. It's supposed to be taking place on the 18th through the 22nd. Now, what I'm running into is I realize I've kind of stretched myself in the month of April. And so, as you'll see, not only is that open, the Let's Go Live Challenge Week, but we also have Scale Your Business with a Summit, which is coming up. And I want to show you the Scale Your Business with a Summit image. So, this is being hosted by Jenny and Lindsay, two of my very new friends. And let me tell you what's so exciting about this to me. A lot of folks have been doing summits, but they don't always do them right. Okay. And what I mean by that is people are doing summits without thinking of all the little pieces that go together. As a matter of fact, y'all, and if you have questions, feel free to pop those into the chat because I want to make sure that I can answer your questions too. I'm creating a list. I have 3 right now. But if when I started 15 plus years ago now. And when I first started out on stream, I was doing Twitter as my primary social platform, and it was driving people to various conferences and events that I was hosting. And my very first huge summit was called the Women of Color Career Summit. I still have a set of DVDs because this was back when, much like Milana Lashinsky, who was one of my mentors and still is a good friend, much like she would do. I know you do need that summit event info. I'm about to share, I promise. Little tiny story. So I wish I had brought this thing up here. Thank you, Robin. I'm going to catch that too. Okay. Please continue to put your questions in the chat because I'm going to make sure that I answer those. As a matter of fact, let me just do the scrolling comments thing so I can make sure I don't forget. And y'all keep me accountable. But here's what was fun. The summit was awesome. It was amazing. But it took so much work. There were so many different parts to it. So I had, I think, about 13 or 14 speakers from all over the world. I had to send communications to them to make sure they were on time, to know what to expect. It was a telesummit, so we did this over the phone. We did it by audio. There were different tools then, back then, than there are now. And everything was recorded and it had to be high quality sound. And it cost a lot of money back then for me. And then it was put into DVD format. So I sold these DVDs with a workbook. Like it was all out and it was awesome. Now, it shouldn't take as much work as it took me 15 years ago, but it still takes a lot of work. There's a lot of moving parts. And what you want to make sure that you do is that you have taken the time to study and to plan properly so that your summit goes off without a hitch. So, this summit that they're going to be doing, that they're going to be delivering, is called Scale Your Biz with a Summit. Scale Your Biz with a Summit. And I did create, and let me just see if I can make sure that I pop it in here for you. I'm going to pop in, wrong words. I'm going to pop in my actual link for you. Okay. So it should be Tanya.click, and I think it's Success Summit, but I'm going to double check that for you really fast here so that you have it. Summit Success. That's what it is. Okay. Summit Success. Now, if you have any trouble with that, just reach out to me, DM me, or put it in the comments. But Tanya.click/Summit Success. The reason why I think you really need to pay attention to this, if you're thinking about doing some type of virtual summit at all, is there are 15 plus speakers. Okay. They all have experience in different aspects of building and creating an amazing summit. When I tell you that these women, Jenny and Lindsay, are organized and on point, look, I have people reach out all the time about speaking and going and doing conferences and all of those things. But when I saw their stuff, because usually I'll put a toe in the water and say, hey, can you send me information about what you're doing? And I want to make sure it's the right audience, etc. Right? These ladies were on it. So when I tell you this is going to be a great event, I promise you, I believe that it's going to be an excellent event. And I think it's one you should not miss. And it's free. It's free. So don't miss out on the Scale Your Biz with the Summit. Now, the reason why I wanted to make sure to say this is because I literally just realized that it's the same week as our Let's Go Live challenge. And what I do know is that people should not be overwhelmed. I don't want you feeling overwhelmed. Here's what happens when you have too many people in your ear and trying to teach you. Okay. This happens when you have like 5 coaches and every coach is giving you a different opinion because that's what happens. That's real life. Okay. You have to be careful. And it's one of my mentors told me this. In fact, I'm going to call him out. It's Richard, who is the spouse of Kendall Summerhawk, the amazing Kendall Summerhawk. Richard called me out one day and he was like, look, you're listening, you got too many cooks in the kitchen. You're listening to way too many voices. So come back after you fire the 3 or 4 other voices you're listening to. It was so funny because it was real. It was on point. What he was saying was not that everybody wasn't right. He's saying it's hard for you to follow a path when you got 6 different paths. Okay. So, what I don't want to do is split your time. If you're going to attend this free Scale Your Biz Summit, I want you to go and get all the goodies, take all the notes, get all the information that you can if you're planning on doing a summit. So here's where you come in terms of my poll. And that's it. Look, let me put this, I got to put this up here because Teresa is on point. She's so right. You have to discern who you are called to receive from. Everybody is not meant. In fact, y'all, I bought that shirt. For those of you who are in my community, you know what I'm talking about. I bought that shirt that says, I am not for everyone. I just didn't wear it today. I was supposed to wear it tomorrow. You're not for everyone, and everyone is not for you. And you do need to discern. So I'm going to share this, especially for those of you who are in my live streaming for service providers community and those who are in my Stream Bosses Academy. I want to hear from you. If you're good with doing both or you want Let's Go Live Challenge to run on April 18th week, then we can keep it going. I'm ready. But if you feel like, you know what, I'm going to attend the summit instead, that's 4 days. Okay. And I don't want you to miss out. So I can move mine out a week. I can move mine to the week of the 25th, the Let's Go Live challenge. But I kind of want to hear from you all. Okay, and Michelle says she's good with both, but I know there are going to be some others who may feel a little conflicted, and I want you to tell me. That's why I'm reaching out. So, calendar wise, there is a lot going on, but this is one that I don't think you should miss. If you're thinking about doing summits, you want to attend and get the information. Now, I'm going to share another thing with you. And I'll be circling back inside of my different closed communities to check in with y'all on this whole date change thing. Right now, the Let's Go Live Challenge is available for registration, and it is at letsgolivechallenge.com. And yes, Robin, I hear you, girl. So look, I'm all about information. I don't want to overload you, but I want to make sure you have what you need and that you're able to implement when we have so much that's coming at us. And I know this because it's happened to me, it's happening in this moment. When we have so many things coming at us, it's so hard to execute on it and take an action because you just have like 500 things that you're trying to do. And we have to be more laser focused on success. We have to make sure that we're doing the things to be successful, not doing the things to be overwhelmed. I saw my friend in the nudge group, you know who you are, who wrote a beautiful, she actually did a podcast. I may have to share that inside of our communities. She wrote a podcast or had a podcast where she talked about information overwhelm. It is a real thing, it's an addiction, as she called it. We don't need to take so much information all at the same time and then never execute. It's time to take action. I don't know about you, but I'm at the age where I'm like, look, I don't have time to play games. I don't have time to mess around. So when I know it's time for me to take action on something, then I need to take that action, even when it's not perfect. Speaking of not perfect, I shared a reel today that was absolutely not perfect. But I got that sucker to 1 minute. So I was like, hey, publish. Because I could have spent a whole entire day trying to get that thing done. And I want to talk about a resource for reels too in just a minute. Yes. Okay, I'm putting this up because it's funny. Too much information can lead to information constipation. Teresa, Sisterhood of Strong. Teresa can be found, Teresa Horan, at sisterhoodofstrong.com. She and Michelle are both members of our Stream Bosses Academy, and I recently interviewed them. If you missed their interviews, you need to go find them. Go look at youtube.com/Tanya Smith, and you'll see a playlist for our spotlight interviews. But here's the thing, and thank you so much, Robin. Yes, Robin is agreeing too. She gets it. Look, we get it. I'm at this age where I don't want to sit there procrastinating and have so much information that I never do a thing. This is time. It's your time to shine. Many of the women and the folks who are in my circle of influence, we are over 40. I'm actually over 50. Right? So, no more games. It's about what we do needs to make sense. What we do needs to be something that is driving us towards the goals that we're trying to achieve. I was talking to my financial advisor the other day and I said, my only goal, my number one goal at this point in my life is to prepare my kids, my daughters for success. That's it. Like, I'm already where I think I'm going to be. And yes, I can do better and I'll continue to grow where I am and with what I'm doing. I love what I do. But my number one goal, my objective ultimately is to prepare them, to set them up, to show them what it's like to be a courageous woman who takes action so that they too will do the same thing in their lives. And they have so much more time than I do. So you got to be thinking, yes, we are not going to say, thank you, Robin. Thank you, thank you. It's all moisturizer. and hair color. Hair color like clockwork. That's the secret. Every 4 weeks. Otherwise, I would have completely like gray hair all up in here. One of these days, I'll let that gray come out. But yes, we are trying to create a living legacy. We want to create by our actions. We want to set the pace for those who are coming behind us. That is really, that's ultimately what I want to do. I know there's a lot of people with these goals of being 6 figure and 7 figure people. And yeah, that would be awesome. But that's not my ultimate objective. My ultimate objective is that I want to set them up for success, and I want to set you up for success by doing the things and sharing my mistakes as I'm doing the things so that you don't have to make the same mistakes. So it's about shortcuts. And so the Let's Go Live challenge, that's part of the reason why I created that. And I do want you to attend, but I also want you to think about if you're trying to scale with a business summit, then that might be a better use of your time, to be honest. The 18th through the 21st, I think, is when they're doing it. So I will move Let's Go Live depending on what I hear from you in the communities. I'll move it to April 25th. So that just gives you extra time to be able to sign up. Let me share the page with you. You can absolutely go there at letsgolivechallenge.com and you can find all the details and information. I am trying to get better at sharing testimonials and sharing the beauty of the stories of transformation that many of the folks who have been a part of my programs have had. So I am definitely working on it. I'm a work in progress, but I'm working on sharing. I have some amazing video testimonials and written testimonials, so I'll be doing more sharing of those because I want you to see that even though it's only $37, y'all, you get much access, okay? So, those are two things. Now, the third thing, the third event I wanted to share with you, and I know there's a lot coming at you. That's why I was like, this can't just be a post. I need to get on camera and share. The third thing I wanted to share with you is that Elise Dharma, some of you have followed her or may know who she is. Elise Dharma is putting on or not putting on an event, but she has a program called On Video. And the gist of the program is it's a membership program. This is going to be for my ladies and gentlemen who are doing more reels, TikToks, and you're doing more short form video because I swore off of creating a bunch of libraries and templates. I said that I might have to do it at some point, but I'm not there right now. My focus is on live streaming primarily. But if you are someone who's trying to do more reels and you're trying to capitalize on the short form video, right? She has a program called On Video. Okay. And that On Video program is, I think at this time, it's $20 a month for the membership, which is not bad for her to give you video captions, one liners. It's basically to give you ideas that you can use each month to create your videos because that literally is the biggest waste of time is when we sit down and we can't figure out what we're going to post the stupid reel about. That takes forever. That was me earlier today. I knew what I wanted to post about, but it took forever because I was second guessing myself the whole time. And finally, I just said, okay, record and edit and go, which sometimes we have to do. Am I not right? And yeah, Michelle, I didn't mean to pop that one up. Let me pop this up. Can't find a way to slide another thing in. Girl, that's real talk. That is real talk. So, look, I know that reels are a thing. And what I'm doing now is really processing the best way to take the live stream work I'm already doing and convert that and repurpose that to be effective at communicating a short message. Okay. That's the key. Do not buy into where people are like, hey, just take your stuff and chunk it down and, just split it into 6 pieces if you have a 30-minute video and there you go. No, it needs to be relevant pieces. When people see those pieces, those clips on Reels or TikTok or wherever, it needs to be something that's capturing their attention and that is providing value. So it does take time to produce those things. And I do have methods, and I can show you something if anybody has questions about that tonight. I can show you one, at least one of 5 different tools that I use to do this. But um, my point was that, and here's where I'm going to answer question number 1. The question that came up in my group, in my community today was, should I just altogether leave live stream alone and just do reels? Before I do that, let me not forget to go ahead and put this on video link in here, because if you want to grab Elisa's package at the $20 a month, that is like today only. I know, tired of thinking about it. Girl, I hear you. Let me see if I can. I'm just going to try to write it. Nah, I'm not going to try to write it because my chicken scratch, I don't think you'll be able to read it right now. So I'm going to put it back in here. I'm going to type in. This one is called Tanya.click on video. Oops. This is the link that you can go and grab Elisa's package. If you are doing reels and you want ideas, you can either do the monthly membership or she has an annual discount. And that will give you ideas for you to create reels, TikTok, short form video, etc. Okay. There's also an agency option. If you are an agency, let me be real clear on this because I asked because I wanted clarity. If you're an agency who is going to be creating videos on behalf of your clients, this will also be something where you can use the video ideas for your clients. So check it out and see if that's right for you. I'm not doing a bunch of sales pitchy stuff. I'm just telling you what's available and letting you know in case you want to be informed so you can make the best decisions. So those are my clicks for you for this evening. So I'm going to answer questions now. So on the calendar thing, the number one thing, I'm coming back to my communities over the next couple of days to double check and see, do we want to keep Let's Go Live Challenge on the 18th, the week of the 18th for 5 days? And if we do, I'm ready to go. Let's Go Live Challenge.com. Or if you want to move it to the 25th so that you can have room and space, mental space, to attend the Scale with a Summit, Scale Your Business with a Summit, Success Summit. I can't say that 5 times too fast. I'll send out an email to those of you who are on my list. How about that? So you have all of these links. Okay, and I'll put it in the video description here too, wherever you're watching from. Let's answer questions. Let's take a stab at answering some questions. So I want to come back to that question about reels versus live stream, or do both, or what. I want to come back to that because that may take me a few minutes. I'm going to answer the first question first, and that is, I won't say names. The person who submitted it asked, hey, I can't get my camera angles right. She was like, I'm just kind of all over the place and I can't get my camera angles right. So I'm going to show you something. Let me see the best way I can show you without messing up my whole camera. And I also saw a question about microphones, so I'll make sure to answer that too. The camera, you notice how I'm like pointing directly, like I'm right in the center. Here's what I want you to imagine. And I am going to use my iPad for this, okay? So I'm going to try to do this. And it may look a little like chicken scratch, but I think it will help you. So let me pull this up and let's do a grid, okay? I want to show you a grid and I'm going to pull it up right now. Let me make sure I get my little Apple Pencil because I'm using all Apple products. Michelle and Marcia, that's for you. Yes, I am calling you out. Okay, so here's my iPad, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is this is what I want you to think of when you're creating the space for your video. So the person who asked this question, I'm going to make sure to tag you privately so that you can see what I'm doing here, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a grid, okay? I'm going to pretend that I'm creating a grid. So I want you to imagine that you're on your screen and you're creating a grid like a tic-tac-toe grid, okay? So basically you have column 1, you have column 2, and you have column 3. So all your content when it comes to your video should be applied within this layout as best as possible, okay? And the way I want you to do this is I mostly want you to have your face somewhere like right here, okay? This is face and shoulders. I know, I'm not a good artist. It's okay. You get the point. Okay? Now, if for some reason you're showing something on screen, just like I am right now, then you still want to be thinking about your threes, or maybe you may want to make quadrants, okay? But ultimately, what we're going to do is we're going to have these 3 columns and we're going to have our face in the center. So let me show you. Hey, you, whoever that is that just showed up, I can't see who you are. Okay. But notice how my face is in the middle quadrant. Okay. So when you are creating your videos, you want to be thinking about this, because sometimes what will happen is instead you're like way down here, or you're way, oh, it's Dee Dee. Hey, girl. Or you way up here, right? Or you're off to the side and there's nothing else over here on the left. Like sometimes you're just not in a position where it's going to show up well. The reason why you want to make sure you do this whole chart or grid, if you will, and it's an imaginary grid. It's not like you're really going to be sitting there drawing on your camera. But you're thinking in this way because if you're going to repurpose your live stream, which right now I'm in a 16 by 9, right? Okay, so I'm in a 16 by 9, which is great for YouTube. And it's great for most channels if somebody's watching on their desktop or laptop. But when they're watching on their phone, they're going to hit that middle grid. They're going to hit that middle column, okay? That's the best way for you to repurpose your content into vertical space, is when you're right there dead center. So if you're planning on doing repurposing, I would suggest that you think about the grid, okay? That you kind of create your little tic-tac-toe board and you position in the center as best you can. Now, the other thing, and I think the main problem that she was having, she talked about angles, and we didn't get a chance to really talk about it, but I remember when I had a laptop that looked really crazy. The laptop camera, the webcam was at the bottom. I think it was a Dell. It was at the bottom of the screen, which was really goofy looking because it was showing all up my nose like this, right? Nobody wants to see up your nose when you're doing a live, right? But nor do they want to look down on you at an angle like this. So you want to try to get yourself to a point where you're looking into the camera. Now, my own camera, I will show you. Yes, I have. Thank you. I try to stay in the middle. Yes, ma'am. If you can stay in the middle, that's awesome. So let me show you something else, okay? When you are, try to move that up a little bit. You want to try, here's how my laptop is set, okay? So actually it's an iMac now. So here's my iMac. My camera sits like right here. And I don't use the iMac's camera because it's not that great of quality, okay? I'm going to show you the difference between my iMac camera and the DSLR that I'm looking at, or you're looking at right now. So let me try to show you the difference if I can. I'm going to try to swing it. I think I may have even turned the thing off because I was like, ooh, that's not cute. Okay, we're going to turn on our FaceTime HD camera. Look at this, the difference in quality. I have to unlock it. Okay, come on. It's trying to switch over, but I just added it, so it's like, I don't know. Okay, it may not switch. I'm trying to add it, y'all, but it's choosing not to add right now. Oh, well, okay. We'll take that off. I may have to do another scene. Let me see if I can switch to a different scene over here and do a side by side. But the gist of it is your typical cam that's built into your laptop or desktop is not going to be beautiful. It's just not. So you're either going to want to do an investment in like a little that's funny. In a Logitech, which is just a USB camera, you just take that webcam, hook it up to your laptop or desktop, and go. And that's typically sufficient, right? If you're really trying to be pro, you're probably going to want to do a little upgrade. I've heard a lot of good things about the Logitech Brio. I don't use the Brio. I tried it once and didn't love it. So I ended up going to my DSLR. I started with a Canon T6i. Right now, I use a Sony A6400, but every other week there's a new something. So I think right now the Sony EV something is what people are using. I don't even know what it is because I stopped trying to keep up other than to help you. But most of the folks that I'm working with are fairly new in this space. And so you're not going to want to go out and buy thousands of dollars worth of camera equipment, which is fine. So I'm going to see, you try to stay in the middle. Okay, so Dee Dee, mine's a little to the left, so it doesn't, yeah, it doesn't cover the camera, but I agree it sucks. Okay. But that's okay. Now, if you purchase the thing that lowers your Logitech camera, it has helped. That's Ulika. Yes. Okay, Ulika has a summit that's coming up, and you'll have to share. You need to come on my show. I'm going to have to interview you in a couple of months to make sure that everybody knows what you're doing because it's going to be awesome. I'm very excited for you. But there is a tool. If Jay is on, if Javaka, if you're here, can you pop in the comments your the name of that thing? There is a tool that is available that will allow you to put your camera in the middle or a little bit lower on your screen. So let me show you where it shows up. I just can't ever remember what it is because I don't have one. But I showed you here's where my camera is. What this thing does, and let me just kind of erase this real quick. I do love my iPad. I'm going to start over again. Okay, so we're pretending that that's the that's the iMac. It looks way better than my picture. But what this thing does, if I can remember what it's called, and Yulika, if you know the name of what yours is, put it in here and let me see. But it brings your camera down. So it's like this hook that hooks up onto the top of your screen and then it puts the camera right here. So if you have like a Logitech, I wouldn't do this with a DSLR. I think it says on their website that you can, but I would not do that. I would not scratch up my screen or my DSLR camera. I would use a Logitech if I'm doing this, but the Logitech sits right here on a little shelf in the middle of your screen. And this part right here is transparent so that you can actually see. Look, I can't even write. This is transparent so that you can actually see the words. Like if you have words, if you have like not a transcript, if you have a teleprompter app that you're using, then you can put the words right here. Like the words can be going across here, and then you're looking directly into the camera. But I've taught myself to do these two things. One, to be in the center as best as I can. And then two, I've gotten a little bit more brave, but typically I'm going to have my camera, so it'll be like this for me. And it's on a tripod behind my laptop, behind my desktop screen. And I've just figured or found a way to remember to look dead into the center of that camera so that you know I'm talking to you. One of the things that's really hard for most people when you're first starting out is you're looking kind of like at your screen like this, and then people don't know that you're talking to them. It takes away from your live stream and from your presence. Okay. So I want you to just be thinking about that and experiment and play around with the camera and your angles. And I will be honest with y'all, when I first started, I used a box. Like I still have an empty cardboard box that I keep just in case I need to move things around and set stuff up on a box to make it work. That's what we do. We make things work. So do whatever it takes to make it work, and don't go out and spend thousands of dollars and hundreds of dollars on stuff until you can commit to yourself that you're really going to be continuing to do more video. I hope you'll take the pledge right now. I want y'all to put a hand raise emoji in the comments right now. Take the pledge that you're not going to go out and buy thousands of dollars of equipment until you are committed, truly committed. And part of the work that we do in the Let's Go Live challenge is helping you to find your way, get your sea legs, get more confident before you start going out and buying a ton of stuff. Okay. Plexicam. Thank you. Hallelujah. Yes, Michelle just found it for me. So the thing that goes in the middle, I kept saying the thing. The shelf, the little clear shelf, is a Plexicam. That is what it is. And that is attached to your Logitech. Awesome. Yes. And Dr. Deneen, yes, you can come back and watch the replay. It'll be here. Yes, and I see hands raised. Please do not go out on Scouts Honor, Girl Scouts Honor. Do not go out and buy a bunch of stuff until you have committed here first that you're going to do it. And then I want you to do it with not just here, but also here, and just get on camera and do it even when it's not perfect. Because again, when I did that reel earlier today, I was like, real pros at video are going to be like, what the heck did she just throw together? But I realized I'm not trying to speak to pros. I'm trying to speak to people who need help, people who are probably a step or two behind me that could use a little boost. So let me give them my ideas, put that stuff out there, get it done so I can move on to the next project and not sit there worrying about the imperfection. And sometimes that's what we have to do, y'all. We have to do that. We have to get past our own decisions that we're making in our heads about what people are going to think about us. And we have to move because, again, I ain't got time. And you may be in the same boat as me. We don't have time to play around. It's time to get our message out to the world. So that was a question about angles. There was a question about my microphone. Let me find it real quick here. I'm going to put up the comments sheet again. And I told y'all I had time to play tonight, so I'm playing. So if you got questions, pop them in. Let's get you some answers and get you some suggestions. There, Michelle put in there, plexicam.com. Yes, practice gets it right. Girl, seriously, that's what does it. The more, look, you don't get the confidence first and then do the video. You do the video and it builds the confidence. That's how this works. So anybody that told you differently, I'm just telling you the truth. I'm here to tell you because I've made all the mistakes. I'm still going to make some more. I know I will. But the more you do the video, the more confident you get. The more you step out, the more confident you get. You don't get confident first and now magically, hey, the confidence switch is on and now I can go do video. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Okay, so let me look at that question. I'm trying to find it. Somebody asked me maybe about my microphone. Who asked me that? I still love that. Too much information leads to information constipation. Okay, what type of mic and equipment? So I've got a lot of equipment, Robin, but I'll tell you what I'm using right now as my microphone. It's not a super fancy mic. It's fancier than what I used to use. What I started with was a blue Snowball, which is old school. Like it's way back in the day. A blue Snowball. It looks like an old radio mic. That's what I started with. And I used to do my, I don't know if y'all remember Blog Talk Radio. Y'all remember that? I used to do my snack size marketing blog on Blog Talk Radio and a couple of other stations, and I used that. Then I graduated to what did I have? Oh, a Yeti. I went to a Yeti. Nope, I went to an ATR. It was an Audio Technica ATR 2100, which a lot of people still use today. In fact, I still have mine as a backup, but I eventually moved from that to a Yeti, and I moved from the Yeti to this. And this is let me show you a little bit more if you can kind of see it. It's got a little pop filter on it. I don't want to mess with my sound too much, but it's an Elgato. No, it's not an Elgato. It's a Rode Pod mic, is what this is called. You can find a lot of my suggested gear if you go to streamlikeaboss.shop. Streamlikeaboss.shop. That's in my YouTube description. You'll see that there if you're watching on YouTube. The reason why I bought this is because I wanted the XLR quality. So I wanted a little bit next step level quality, and I wasn't ready to invest the money in the Shure mic, Shure. I know that's supposed to be the pinnacle. It's like angels sing and the clouds open up when people buy a Shure mic. David Kennedy, you're in my group and you have one. You'll have to tell me what you think for real. Let me scroll down and make sure I'm catching comments. Okay. And I will answer that question, Dr. D. The Rode Pod mic, I like. It is heavy. I like the arm I have, but I'm probably going to get a lower profile mic so I can move, or arm, so I can just move it out of the way underneath my monitors when I'm done with it. Right now, I have to move it up and out of the way, but I like it as far as quality. Um, I think that you can probably do fine with a Bluetooth lavalier. Those can get a little pricey. If you get one that's not Bluetooth but is connected, that's about 20 bucks, 20, 30 bucks. If you get one that is not connected with a wire but it's Bluetooth, a lavalier mic that attaches to your undergarments or to the top of your shirt or under a hat if you're wearing a hat. If you get one of those work well too. There's so many different versions of mics that you can get. But I like mine right now. I do. And this little thing that's at the top, I got it off of Etsy because I didn't want one that covered the entire, I didn't want a pop filter that covered the entire mic because honestly, I think it's pretty and I liked looking at it. So, so I bought the $12 pop filter and it works just fine. It helps when you get a pop filter for your mic. The reason you do that is so that your those words don't sound like crackles every time you speak. Okay, so, but honestly, there's one that's built into the pod mic, so I don't know if it's really making that much of a difference, but it sounded like it made a little slight difference for me. Okay, so I think I answered that question, and I got a ton of other equipment, so you can find some of that on streamlikeaboss.shop. One more question. I got to answer. Let me answer Dr. D's question. Then I'm going to go into that live stream versus reels or both or what. Saying the angle is my issue when it looks like I'm looking at the computer, not the camera. I'm not necessarily saying that. I need to see your photos. So why don't you do this for me because you're in the community? Take a couple of photos for me. You're welcome, Robin. Take a couple of photos for me, Dr. D, of what you're looking like, or have your spouse or someone who's in the house, who's at home with you, just act like you're doing a live stream and have them take a couple of quick photos and share those so that I can give you some thoughts because I don't know. I don't know the answer until I can see that. I want to see where your angles are. Now, one thing you can really just kind of pay attention to is look at your own lives. I know we get scared. Let me tell y'all, when I first started doing video, I hate it. When I first started doing podcasts, I did not want to listen to my own self. It is a scary thing. If you know what I'm talking about, just type in yes, girl. It's scary. But I don't want you to be scared. You need to listen to yourself and you need to watch yourself. And guess what? You'll probably figure out what the problem is when you watch your own self. Go do a playback of your live. You can see where you're looking. And if you're not looking directly into the center of your camera, you're probably looking off like this or like that or like this. Or you may need to adjust the way in which your camera is angled and take a few shots. I see that. Yes, girl. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. And Dr. D, if you put your computer on the box and screenshot your melon, if it looks like you're talking to the screen and not your camera, that's a simple fix. Here's what I'm going to tell y'all. This is my secret. Come here. So, y'all know those sticky notes that you can get for like $3 to $5 at Home Depot, or not even Home Depot, Office Depot. They look like arrows. Those sticky notes, y'all know what I'm talking about. The sticky pads, they look like an arrow. Take one and put it on the side of your camera. Let me do my iPad thing again because I need to show you. And I don't want to pull mine down, so I need to show you what I'm talking about, okay? What I want you to do is this. And I am horrible at drawing, but for some reason, this is just, I'm going to make this work. Okay. When you have your camera lens, this is your camera lens, okay? So maybe you have the little tiny dot right there. Y'all pretend this is a camera. Just work with me on this, okay? This is the camera. If this is your DSLR, you're going to pop your little sticky note, the arrow sticky note right here pointing to the center. Now, what if you don't have a DSLR? So, same concept. Let's do a Logitech. We're going to do a Logitech cam. So I'm just going to pretend this is my Logitech. I cannot draw to save my life. I'm just going to pretend this is Logitech. Logitech has extra space on the sides. Same thing. We're going to take a little sticky arrow and we're going to point this sucker right here so that every time we get ready to go live, we are reminded to look dead in the center. This is the eye. Okay? That's just like your person who's on the other side of the screen. They're looking at you. Okay? This is their eye. They have nice lashes. Okay? So, this is their eyeball. Here, I'm going to redraw that because that sucked. Okay? Eyeball, you're looking at their eye. This is the same as this. So if you feel like when you're looking at yourself and you're doing a replay and your live stream looks like you're looking somewhere else, you're looking at your screen and not looking at the camera, that's why. That's an easy fix. Just get yourself those little sticky arrows and pop that thing right on the center, point to the center so you don't forget to look there at your camera. Okay. That literally is how I taught myself to do this. I'm sure there are other more expensive ways and people that you can go and pay to tell you the same doggone thing. But yes. Okay. If you're using the camera on the Mac, I don't like using the camera on my Mac, but you can do that if you choose to do that. And if you do, then what I want you to do is to do the same thing, Dr. D. You want to do the same thing. Point to the camera with the sticky so that you remember to look directly at the center. Okay, let me answer this last question. This one I'm going to take a little time on, but I won't take too much time on because and I'm checking to see if anybody has any like light bulb moments or if there's something else that I need to answer. I'm going to pop that up there so that I don't forget to acknowledge you. But the last question I will answer was brought up, and the question was, should I just do live streaming? No, the question was, should I stop doing live because I'm no longer getting the juice I used to get? I didn't get the boost anymore that I used to get when I first started live. This is coming from one of my clients, okay? And her question was, hey, if I'm getting a lot more boost from reels and doing TikToks and short form content, should I just go ahead and focus on those and say, to heck with live stream? Because live streaming takes a lot more time and energy. And right now, according to her, I don't have time and I don't have the team, the capacity to be able to do all these things. Totally get it. So here's how I'm going to answer that question. And that is, it depends. There's a couple of things that I'm going to just give you from the heart what I think on that. I think that It's trendy right now to do reels and TikToks. And because Facebook has, or Meta has this battle with TikTok going on, and they're like, we want to push your reels and we want everybody to be making reels and we'll monetize you and all those promises that they keep making, which by the way, that sucks because they turn my reels off after I accepted professional mode on my profile. So in case that happens to you, it is a glitch. Teresa told me about that first from sisterhoodofstrong.com. But if they're going to, it's the feed the beast thing all over again. This is how I got started doing live stream because I realized that every platform was saying, do more live, do more live. And finally, I was like, well, shoot, I'm just going to do the lives and see what the heck happens. I'm going to do them for a year. So I say, yeah, ride the wave. If you feel like you are gifted at, or you can train yourself, which you can learn anything. If you want to learn and spend the time to invest in getting like that on video kit, right? So that you have ideas, so that you can do reels. Reels is where it's at. If you're on Facebook or Instagram, it's where it's at right now. It's where they're boosting, they're putting the money and the visibility into you doing reels. But here's what I don't want you to neglect is if you've started building your business using lives and you're on LinkedIn and other spaces, you need to keep in mind that that long form content has longevity. That's why the word long is in it. Has longevity. The longer form content can stick around for a bit longer than your short form content, and it gives people more meat. It gives them something to sink their teeth into so that they really get to know who you are and what you're all about. This is why I've spent this last hour on here with you, is because you really get a chance to hear relevant content, not just 30 seconds or a minute of stuff. Through 30 seconds or a minute of something, I don't know that I'm ready to go and purchase your $500 or $1,000 package. I don't know if I'm ready to do that from short form. I guess some people are making really good strides with it, but I feel like you need to have a combination. And the other thing that I shared in my response was my written response is that I feel like you need to think about the fact that when you're repurposing, you can always repurpose an hour-long video into multiple reels. You could take sound bites and turn those into audiograms or turn it into a podcast, turn it into a blog post. You cannot do the reverse. You can't take a 30-second reel and turn that into a 30-minute workshop. I mean, I guess you could, but you're not saving yourself any time because you're still doing a 30-minute workshop or webinar or a live stream. So I want you to really think about that strategically. What does that mean for you if you just stop doing all long form content altogether and only do short form? What does that mean for you and for your business? You have to examine that. I can't give you a black and white answer on that, but I can say do consider those things. Do consider the fact that you have much more of an opportunity when you take the time to put together a high quality live stream and to convert that into other types of spaces or content in other platforms. And you cannot do the reverse. And I know people have a short attention span in some cases, and I get that. But also, are we training people not to want more of us? Are we training them to only want to hear us for 30 seconds or a minute? I don't think I want to get in the business of doing that. So that's my answer right now. I've put some feelers out to see what others in the field are saying. So I will reach back out in the community once I know here's what other people are saying, here's how other people feel about that, who have experience and expertise in the space of digital marketing. That's it. Those are my questions that I got. I hope I answered them for you. I will be reaching back out to hear from you, the folks that are in my active communities, to find out if you would like to move Let's Go Live Challenge to the next week on April 25th instead of the 18th. If you're attending the summit, then definitely let me know that. I hope you will attend. I will make sure I pop the links into the video description wherever this is so that you have those. If you're on Twitter and you're watching, I'll make sure I tweet out some posts about it over the coming days so that you have that. And inside of our Facebook group, our free Facebook group, I will also make sure to put that in the featured post so that you have the dates and the links to these different things, okay? If it will be helpful to you, then take advantage of them. And if it's not, then put that aside and go get yourself a break because we all need a mental break. I'm starting to write into my calendar, block this day. No clients, no content, me watching Netflix or me watching what we have now is YouTube TV. I just want to sometimes have a day where I'm just chilling and I'm not doing everything. And I think we all need that right now. Um, what is your real feeling on that as far as the trends in the future? My real feeling is what I just said. I think that the trends, as they relate to short form and long form, I think they change over time. I think it's always a wave, it's a cycle. And I don't know and I don't believe that short form content, I think it will always have a place. If I didn't think that, I wouldn't have had a whole business called Snack Size Marketing, right? I probably should have stayed in that business a little longer. But honestly, I was tired of being constricted and constrained to 30 seconds or 1 minute. I think there will always be a place for a combination in your business. The trick is if you don't have a team, if it's just you as a solo service provider, how can you make yourself relevant in both short and long form content? That's the trick. And I think the most important thing is you have to think through your strategy for that. You have to get help. I have to get help. Um, so I can tell you that from experience because there's no way you can be all things to all people in this time. So, future trends, I think there's space for both. I think there's space for audio as much as there's space for video. I don't think any of those things are going away anytime soon. I think that at least for the next 3 to 5 years, and especially given this whole metaverse thing that's coming, that's a whole different conversation I won't get started on. But I think that we as entrepreneurs, whatever your niche is, need to be educating ourselves about the trends. We need to be clear on what our position is, where we're going to plant our flag. I talked about this a few weeks ago. Where we're going to plant our flag, what we're about, and who our audience is. I know, yes, exactly. Get the help. I'm seeing that a couple of times here in the comments. Get the help. Amen to the help. Yeah. Look, we need it. We have to get the right support though. And before you can get the help, you need to understand your own process. And that's where I am in this moment is I'm sitting down and I'm reconsidering what is the process that I want to follow. Sorry about that. What is the process that I want to follow and how do I want to show up? And I had a really excellent conversation with email marketing expert Liz Wilcox this week. We met this week because I needed her to tell me the truth and to slap me a couple of times about my email marketing strategy. I needed her to be like, okay, girl, it's a mess. like this is what you need to do. Sometimes we need people to do that, but we also need to think about how we want to show up. And she said that to me. She's like, how do you want to show up? How do you want to be transparent and real and show people who you really are? Because those things matter when we're jumping on these waves of trends that are out there. You can easily get caught up in just like the wave just takes you over and you no longer are yourself and you're no longer standing for the things you said you were going to stand for. If I said I want to stand for time freedom, if I want to stand for being authentic and being real, if I want to stand for women over 40 and women over 50, if I want to stand for those things, then I need to examine every decision I make about the content I create and what I put out into the world. It needs to be in alignment. And you can easily get off track if you just keep following every trend. So I watch trends, I study trends, but I am not a slave to the trend. So if that means anything to you, Hopefully that will help you in making decisions about your own branding and where you want to go with this. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you I have all the answers. I am going to tell you that I've been around long enough to know that I don't want to be swept away and swept up in other people's trends just because they say it's the right thing to do. We have to look at our own values, who we say we want to be, what's important to us. We all have different situations. I still have a daughter that needs to get through. She's starting high school in the fall. Whew, praise Jesus. Pray for me, y'all, because I'm also getting ready to go through that period and that phase of hot flashes and all those other things. And there are moments when my emotions are like, blah! All of that matters in this moment. The way that I make decisions about what I'm going to do and what I'm committing to are affected by real life. For you, you may be in a whole different situation. You may not have children. You may not have a spouse or a loved one that's in your space all the time. So you need to make decisions based on that too. Don't forget about your personal situation when you're making business decisions and marketing decisions. You're going to hear a lot of people telling you you need to do a lot of things. But in the end, you need to do something that's going to soothe your soul, that's going to make you feel fulfilled, that's going to be right for you and for the people who are in your influence. You need to be truthful with yourself about what you're willing to do. So that's my answer to that. That's all I got. I'm way over time, but I told y'all I had some time to play today because I probably will not be on tomorrow, as I do need to get on top of things. I'm speaking at different conferences. Oh, I did want to share this with y'all. This is fun. I'm going to share this one last thing before I go because I think this is so exciting. And I'll be sharing it out on social media too. My good friend, Dr. Pam Perry, she published her latest speakers magazine, and guess who's in it? I am in it. Let me see which page I'm on. I don't know what the pages are. I'm going to try to blow it up a little bit. There I am. I'm in the latest magazine issue. So you definitely will want to go out and get it. It's the Speakers Magazine. I will find the link so I can make sure to share that out. But I'm really, really excited. This is probably my fourth, maybe fifth magazine in the last couple of years that I've been a part of. I've also been featured on covers, which is great. It's excellent. It's a fun thing, but it's also a testament to when you put yourself out there and you're brave enough to say yes, things can happen. Good things can happen, and you can reach more people. And that's the reason why I encourage all of you to be on video, because I feel like if you get that courage, that on camera courage, y'all, and you put yourself out there, then more people will see you that need you. They need to hear your message. Thank you, Dr. D and Michelle. And those of you who are in my Facebook group, who I didn't give you a link to say, hey, give permission, but I just know that I'm acknowledging you too. Thank you, everybody. I hope you have an amazing rest of the week and a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful 2022. You still have time to make it great. Okay? You don't have to make all the decisions right now. You just need to take a step. Take a step at a time. Let's get moving and stop procrastinating and stop being paralyzed by fear. Okay. Have a wonderful rest of the evening, and I'll see y'all next time. I think it'll be next week. And for those of you who are in Stream Bosses Academy, training day is coming up already. It's next Wednesday, the 13th. So just FYI. All right. Have a good one, and I'll see you all next time. Take care.